Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the dis and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, everybody? Party people on Facebook. It is D to the J with the roll away, and it's time for episode 72 of My CP Does Not Define Me. And I want to welcome everybody to the show today. It's just me. It's DJC. So I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. We are live on the Disability Global Broadcast, the DGB. Uh, um, I love the way that sounds. That just kind of flows off the tongue now. And honestly, I want to address a couple things. I realize I want to apologize first for the date on my flyer being wrong. I When I made it Monday night, and I looked at the date, and it was the 9th, and I looked and I went, or I made it Tuesday night, and it was still the 9th, and I'm like, oh man, by the time I had posted the flyer, I was done. I went to bed, and then some folks let me know that I had the date wrong, the 9th instead of the 10th. So I do apologize. I did make a note on Facebook to let you guys know that. Better late than never, but I am sorry about that. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Josh. Welcome to the show. Hey, Andrea, how are you? Thank you. I realize it is not the 9th. Yes, it is the 10th. Thank you for letting me know that. I, I I wish I would have caught it a little sooner, but I have had so much going on in the past couple of days. I'm lucky my head is on the right way. Today is going to be a little bit different. Honestly, I think about this, and I always try to put my best foot or will or object that I roll with forward, chair forward, something of that nature. And I labeled number 72, episode 72, the power of passion, and this covers so many levels. But this episode, it's not going to surround CP. Okay, I understand that the CP community is important. Hey, Tony, how are you? Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. I understand that the cerebral palsy community is important. I understand that we need to get out there, but we also need to be who we are and not just the fact that we have cerebral palsy. Because, and I've said this before, my disability is part of me. When I named this show, My CP Does Not Define Me, I actually sat back a couple times and I went, wait a minute. It does in some ways, and that's okay. As long as it doesn't control you and stop you from doing things that you want to do. So the power of passion, let's look at, when we're little itty bitty babies, okay? And we are totally helpless, okay? We have to have support to hold our head up. We have to have support to dress ourselves, to change us, to feed us, to burp us. We have no control over anything. Okay. As we get older and as we go through life, hey, Aaron, how are you? Welcome to the show. Hey, Justin and Melissa, how are you? Thank you for coming to the show. Appreciate y'all being here. As we go through life as itty bitty little infants, we are totally helpless. But somehow or some way, we have this effect on people that when we're little bitty babies and we look and we go, hey, make all those funny little faces, that people just melt. Now, I've said this before, it doesn't take a man to be a mom, and it doesn't take a woman to be a dad, or vice versa. Okay? Because the caregiver of a person, that is a special need in itself. And then when you have CP on top of that, cerebral palsy on top of that, or a disability on top of that, there becomes something that has to happen. In order to survive, there are, I believe, 3 things that we need as people. Okay? Companionship being one, passion or love being another, and support being a third. Now, if you look at that in all of itself, we have caregivers that help us when we're little, and as we grow into ourselves. We learn what we want to be. Sometimes girls learn it faster than boys because, honestly, girls mature faster than boys. Sometimes men don't mature at all. I'm just saying. You look at life and you figure out what you like and you don't like. Baby food, for example. When a baby doesn't like something or a baby wants to eat, he's going to cry because he or she is going to cry because right off the bat, that is pretty much all he or she knows. That is the most famous noise for the baby. When he or she is wet, dry, stinky, angry, doesn't know what he or she wants. The only thing that he or she does is cry. Now, here's the thing. They start on the bottle. They got the formula. That's pretty much it. It's there. It either agrees with them or it doesn't. But as they mature and they get a little bit older in that 12 months to 2-year range, they start sometimes on the year range, or 6 months after they, get off the bottle, they start on the human food, or the people food. And it's, baby food. It's baby food in the jars, and you put something in the baby's mouth, and what's he do? He takes that tongue and he pushes that bad boy out of there, and that's it. He says, I don't want it, Mama, Daddy. You can't give it to me. I don't want anything to do with it. Thank you very much. Let's try something different. That is a baby's first role of independence right there. Okay? Now, let's think about that. Let's move forward a little bit. And you get to where you get them past the baby eating stage, and you get them past holding the cup stage, and you get them to where they're about 5 or 6, and they start picking out their own clothes, and they start picking out their own independence of what they want to wear and what they want to do and what they want to eat and that kind of thing. And they start figuring out who they are. Now, here's the thing. When you start figuring out who you are, whether you have a disability or not, there has to be something involved in this. And it's very early. It is very early to say, but it is passion. Now, let me clarify something. The power of passion can do many things. Okay? It can get us in trouble as male and female. It can make us happy. It can make us sad. It can make us angry. It can make us go, what the was I thinking? It's that moment of, wow, what do I do now? And in life, you make a choice. And the choices that you make affect the way that you are. Now, notice I said the way you are, because in truth, I don't think people that if they're honest with themselves, I don't think people can change who they are. You have to be yourself to a certain degree. And when you stop being yourself for any reason, eventually, somehow, some way, the self, the you, is going to come back out. Now, you look at that. Let's go forward a little bit. Okay? 10 or 12. All right? You look at children nowadays. They're in 3rd or 4th grade, and they're doing all this stuff. They're, bringing their lunch boxes to school and all this, and you get into friends, and you get into girls, and you get into sports they like. You get into activities that they like. You are watching the development of children. Now, Here's the thing. When you throw a disability into that, the development kind of goes, wait a second, what the heck do we do now? Because we're different, but we're not. We Any disability that we have shows us that we can do things. As I've said, we have to do them a different way. But when you want something, whether it's in school, I'll give you a perfect example. You go to lunch, man, and you get that chicken patty or those chicken tenders or that pizza or that hamburger, and you're hungry. There's a bit of passion in there that hits you, and you're like, man, it's lunchtime. Holy crap. Now I can eat and fill my belly. Now you think about that on its very basis of action. It is to fill your belly and give you nutrients from where you need to go. But beyond that itself, you're eating your lunch and you have to like it to eat it because you chose it. You're not going to pick it because it's there. That's why lunchrooms have choices. Do you want A? Do you want B? Sometimes do you want C, D, or E? Okay? You're going to pick the choice that you want. So you look at the food option, you get past the food option, and you get into life a little bit, and you start going into 8th to 12th grade. That is when the impression now becomes, what am I going to do with my life? And it kind of gets to you very quickly, often before you realize it. Some do, some don't. Like I said, some females know, some males know. Some males are banging their head against the wall going, I got to get me a female. That's all I need. That's all I want. Wrong. What you got to do is you got to figure out who and what you want to be. Okay? Because the time that we are here passes so quickly as we get older. I'm getting ready to turn 40 this year. And I look at 40 years of my life, and I am grateful as to where I am now. I am grateful as to what I'm doing now. But to get to this path took choices. Okay? I've always been a talker. I've always been in the room. I've been the go-getter. I've been the outgoing guy. You never have to tell me to participate in something. I was in the SCA, Student Council Association, all of this. And I figured out at a very early age, in order to get your point across, you have to be heard. Now, see, my interpretation there kind of got a little cattywampus. There's my favorite word again. As we go through life, we get kind of cattywampus. In our impressionable years, we think that being heard means being the center of attention. Now, this is where the power of passion will get you in trouble, okay? Because when you're passionate about what you want, you think because you want it, a lot of times it's at the right time. And Tony, you mentioned something right here. I've been told I talk too much about disability advocacy. I don't think anybody really talks too much about it. But what it is what are you doing to spice it up? What are you doing to make it different? Because when people hear the same thing, they turn stuff off real quick. Okay? They tune it out real quick. They go from, well, what am I going to do now? I've heard this before. I don't need to hear it again. So you look at the power of passion. Let's say, I when I was in school, my whole direction in school was music and communications. I have been involved in music and communications my whole life. When I say communications, I mean broadcasting, desktop publishing, radio work, graphic work. I took everything I could grab a hold of to get a hold of graphic communications and on the radio. I, at a very early age, loved to talk. At 1 year old, I was completing, 6 months to 8 months old, I was completing full sentences. Okay. I was a talker. I'm pretty sure I was babbling in the womb, which might have ticked a lot of people off. But my mother knew that my mouth was going to run more than my legs were. Now this is the problem. Sometimes that gets you in trouble. Other times that gets you what you want. But it all depends on how you use it. So let's think about something. So the power of passion, what does that mean? Does that mean that because you're passionate about something, does that mean that it's the right path for you? See, that's the part that we as the human race have to figure it out. That's why I'm so good at talking. I'm pretty sure that my first word was radio. I probably, at the moment of conception, I probably went, I'm going to be on the radio. That was probably my very first phrase, and people kind of went, it's a zygote. It's not even a fetus, and it's talking already. What is the point? You have to take what you want in life very early, because if you don't take what you want in life early, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Somebody is going to step in front of you and try to take what's yours, especially when you have a disability, because 9 times out of 10, unless they're your friend or unless there's somebody who knows you, what they see is a target. So to go through life, when you want something, you have to grab it and hold on to it, because 2 things are going to happen. You're going to fight for it, somebody else is going to get it, or they're going to take it away. 3 things. My favorite word, I have CP and I will do, and that's a good attitude to have, but don't see, a lot of people will go through life and they'll think that it's got to be handed to them. Okay, some people, even because they have a disability, well, I've got cerebral palsy, so this deserves to come to me. And I look at life, and I realize that I had to fight for everything. Nothing was handed to me, and nothing is going to be handed to you, because the thing was, my mother had to learn to fight for us, because she did not know how to fight. Hey, Siobhan, how are you? So I'm just getting on. Hello, guys, waving. I'm getting off work in about 30 minutes, considering I work on cases all day long. That's a big deal for me today. So what are we talking about? We are talking about the power of passion. Now, going into that, what I said was, let's go back for a second. You have to grab what you want in life, because you have to be careful, because if you have it, especially if you have a disability, if you don't grab it quick enough and if you don't go after it quick enough, somebody's going to take your spot and somebody's going to try to take it away from you. And I look at life and I said, wait a minute, that can't be right. But it is, because you have to fight and scrap and claw and dig for everything that you want when you're truly passionate about something. When you truly want it. Now let's use Siobhan as an example for a second. I don't know how many of you guys know Siobhan up here, but this lady is jacked. When I say this lady is jacked, she's got muscles on top of muscles. She could probably bench press me, spin me around, throw me in the air, catch me, body slam me. I don't know. I might like it. I'm going to just say that real quick. I know we live on the radio trying to keep it clean, but I'm just saying there are some happy times about that. Sorry, not trying to go down that road. All right, so here it is. She had to fight, okay? She has a disability. She has cerebral palsy. But here's her demeanor was, I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to get what I need, go where I need to go, do what I need to do. You know, I look at this and there's a couple comments I want to read. JP said this. When I was a teenager, I used to talk someone's ear off if they gave me attention, especially if it was a girl. Thank God, thank gosh I don't do that anymore. I still do that. You know what? Because I like talking to people, but it's not attention. See, that's where the attention became passion. Because talking to people is the bridge of communication, and talking to people gets things done when they listen. When they listen. Okay, let's go down here, and again, Daniel, we've had this conversation personally. Handouts don't always happen, nor do they work out. Now, sometimes you need a little bit of help. There's difference than help and a handout. Okay, if you're getting help to better yourself, that's okay. I don't want to knock this off and say don't get help, because everybody needs help sometime. Everybody's got to go through stuff. Everybody has hard times. You got to get through it. You got to go through it, and you got to dig to get where you want to go. Okay? Aaron basically said this. It's a good comment here. This is so true. I know some people that are just like that. People have had things handed down to them. Other people have worked their butts off for it. Okay, now let me clarify one thing. Just because you get a handout doesn't mean you stop working. Okay? When you get a handout, your mind kind of freaks out for a second. Wait a minute. That was easy. Life is not supposed to be easy. What just happened? Okay, so your mind kind of freaks out. But if you let it change you, and this is where I talked about at the very beginning of the show, you really can't change who you are unless you decide to change or God decides to change you. And that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother show at a whole nother time. But the power of your passion is going to help define who and what you are and how you go through life. Now, let's go back to what I was talking about earlier, you know, being in communication and being in broadcasting and being in all that. I had to learn to use my voice at a very early age. I had to learn to be DJ, but to amp everything up. I used to amp everything up all the time. I was 110% or nothing at all, because that's all I knew how to be. But that's what people saw me as, the guy, not the guy in the chair. They did the label. I think everybody goes through the label, you know, every now and then. You know, and it's that as sucky as that may be, or as rough as that may be, you know, you get past the label and people realize what you are inside. That was because of my passion, because I said very early, you're not going to talk for me. I can talk for myself. I don't need anybody to stand up for me, because I can stand up for myself, no pun intended. Okay? When that became the focus and the power of my passion, that the only way DJ is going to get his message across is to say and use his voice the way he needs to use it. Now, little did I know that that was training me for this. Because when it really became passionate is when I started making a difference. And that's the question that you want to ask about your life. With what you're doing right now, are you making a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual difference in someone else's life or in your own? Okay? Now, don't do this all for yourself. When you are passionate about something, you have to learn very quickly that it doesn't always involve what you're doing for you. It's what you're doing for others that makes it happen. Tony said this: I talk now to empower people to move forward. Representation matters, and we need to be visible so others know things are possible. But we have to know it's possible first, Tony. If we don't know that it's possible first, we can't go anywhere because we are the ones that have to deliver the message. But you have to be a booming voice most of us don't have. The voice you do. All right, let me clarify that, Charles, because there's a phrase. I speak softly, but I carry a big stick. Now think about this. You're a boxer. You speak softly, but you got a mean right hook. So think about it this way. A booming voice does not have to be powerful, but what's said has to be powerful enough to carry across the nation. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have to be loud to make a difference. You can be, but you don't have to be loud to make a difference. Labels. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to my trainer the other night, and I get where you're coming from with that. I had to tell him I want to make sure I'm known as the athlete, not the athlete with the disability. Labels happen, and I'm very adamant about people seeing me for me. That is powerful. That is a powerful statement because I said this also at the beginning of the show for those of you that were there. I had to realize that in some ways, my CP does define me in some ways. It does not control me, and it's not DJ, the guy in the chair. The chair is part of my life, but I'm not looking for the label. I still want to be known for me as DJ without the chair. Waiting for DJ to get the SNL intro job. That would be cool. You know what? I'm happy where I'm at. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever God's got in store for me, I'll take it. Sometimes as people with disabilities, we have to get loud even when we don't want to. It's like I tell my children, you have to speak in a language people understand. And if loud and nasty is what they understand, then speak up. You know, I get where you come from. I understand what you're saying. But sometimes in life, when you get loud and nasty, other people get louder and nastier, and it does nothing but causes a wall between both parties. So sometimes you got to sit back, shut up, and wait a minute and reevaluate the situation. It's not about who's loudest. It's about who's smartest. Because at the end of the day, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. Okay, so you look at life, but I do understand where you're coming from. Yes, sometimes you do have to get loud. Sometimes you do have to push. But again, you do it with passion, not with negativity. And that's where you've got to go. Be careful because people confuse passion and power as two different things. Passion and power are two different things. To be passionate means you are living within the means of yourself and staying true to yourself. That is valuable. Staying true to who you are, what you are, and staying true to yourself is so, so valuable. Okay? Cindy said this. Our passions have to start at some point. And sometimes we don't really find them until later in our lives. That is so true because it takes a while for an individual to realize what they're passionate about. Because we are individuals, and because we are at that moment in our lives when we start to figure out who we are, sometimes it takes more time because we've gone through so much that we've got to get all the crap that we bury ourselves in off to realize where we are in life. JP said this, sometimes what is said is more important than how we say it. Unfortunately, many in today's society, people react to the loudest rather than the content of the message itself. Well said, JP. Because people think just because you're loud, you know what you're talking about. Not necessarily. I can say, I love you, And I can say, I love you. It's the same difference, but people think it's because it's louder that the passion comes from the voice. No, the passion comes from right here. The passion comes from the heart and it pours out into what you're doing. The world just needs to stop dissing people with disabilities and see the ability in us. But they're not going to until we make them realize that they're doing it. Okay? We have to fight for ourselves as much as people need to stop seeing us as just the disabled community. Okay? We have to fight for ourselves as individuals with our passion and our love and our respect. We have to go that extra miles to get where we want to go. My girlfriend is a little person and she's deaf, but she has a power about her. She uses other tools she has to get people to understand her. But here's the thing, just because she's deaf and she's a little person does not mean she cannot get her message across. And that's exactly what you're saying. And I love that. And I think it should be that moment where people realize just because someone looks the way they do or does things the way they do them doesn't mean they can't get their message across. People will stop doing it if it's human nature to attack one that does not understand. It is up to us to help them understand via the message that we give them. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? You cannot assume that you know everything about a disability when you don't. And the only way to learn is to get out there and ask questions, to be real, to be understandable, to be truthful, to be, the voice that you need to be, but you don't have to necessarily yell across the room to get where you want to go, but you do have to be passionate. You need to make space for your disability, and that is when you disclose it. Our society uses labels for funding and resources. Don't let labels stop you. When we have the pen and we can change the label by how we react. I look at this right here. I don't like stereotypes and I don't like labels because it is so wide ranged. Okay, I don't like hearing the word disabled community. Okay, we know we are disabled. How does that matter to you? And what do you want to do to get your point across? And where is your passion? As long as you find your passion and you know what you're passionate about, the label, it needs to be disclosed out of it. Take the label out of it completely. I don't I I don't see color. I don't see big. I don't see small. I don't see disabled. I see a person. But that is because of the way I look. Okay, that is because with the eyes that I see, God has taught me in what I have and what I've learned from and the passion that I've gone through and realizing that where my spot in life is supposed to be. Okay, everybody has a purpose. Okay, and when I decided to do this show, The Power of Passion, you've got to think about something. When you want something in life, sometimes you got to reach out and grab it. Okay, and as I said before, if you don't reach out and grab it, somebody's going to step in front of you, knock you over, clothesline you, and take it, and you're not going to know what happened. I like the way this is said right here. And Miss Wilson said very true to that statement that, yeah, I agree. I like what JP said right here. I'm not disabled. I am enabled for life on a different level. But see, it's that level that we have to get to, JP. That's what I'm talking about. This show and the power of our passion, no matter what problems you face, you can be blind, deaf, no legs, one arm, two arms, 12 arms, 6 heads, 19 legs, 12 chairs. You can be the biggest son of a gun on the planet, but you're still passionate about something. If you want something in life, you have to get it. You know, that's one of the things, and I want to comment on this for a second. So I'm going to slow down on the comment reading because it's something Miss Wilson just said. If you want something in life, you have to get it. You know, a lot of us by society is told he won't, she won't because they're disabled. He can't, she can't because they're disabled. It is what they see, and they are dictating to us what we're going to get and what we're not going to get. That's a problem. That's a problem for us as a people, not as a community, not as a disabled community, but as a people. Okay? We are in charge of our own lives. We are in charge of our own selves. We are in charge and powerful and loving and understanding people, and we have the ability to do anything that we want to do. But here's the thing, we have to find the way to do it. Okay? And this lady sitting right here that I've got pulled up has shown me time and time and time and time and time again, right here on the DGB, the Disability Global Broadcast, people are going to tell you you can't. You have to get off your butt and show them you can. Not because you're showing them, but because you're passionate about it. And when they stop looking at the person in the chair or the person with the disability and see that they're actually functioning in life and making what they want to happen, that is when they understand who they are. See, when all of the other crap doesn't matter, and when you get what you need to do done because you're passionate about it and you want it, that's when it happens. Okay? God gives us opportunities every day to make a difference. Okay? It is our choice, our voice, our motion, our devotion. Look at that. Our motion and our devotion to get it done. Okay? God gives us the choice and the opportunity. God will lead us in the right direction. I'm not trying to preach here. I'm just trying to tell you something powerful. But you've got to put action into place for what you're passionate about. And just because you're passionate about it doesn't mean that other people are going to, but don't let that dissuade you. Okay? Don't let that stop you because somebody else tells you you should try something different. Listen to me because I want to make this very, 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 very clear. Okay? You don't know how many times I heard, radio is hard. To get in on the radio, you got to have a lot of money. You got to have this. You got to have that. You got to have degrees, and you got to have this. Blah, 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 freaking blah. I heard it my whole life. I'm going to tell you, you got to get on a good station, and all you need is a sexy voice like mine. I'm going to be honest. I have a voice for radio. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I have been told by more and more people that my voice is the sexiest voice they've ever heard, and they don't know how I do it and that is something that God gave to me. And when you use the gifts that God gave you, people will notice. I hate when people say you're special, and I say, no, I'm just a dude living life. No, let me say something to that, Tony. We are special. We are special. We are special in a way like no other because we are dedicated. We are real. We do what we say we are going to do. We go through life and we dig for the stuff that we want because we're truthful about what we want to do. We don't have to lie and call in sick and not show up and not do what we say we're going to do because we are dedicated and we are special. I got to be honest. The first time I heard I was special, I looked at special as a debilitating word. Okay, but special is not a debilitating word. Special can be power. Special can be powerful. Special can be real. It's all in how you look at it. Okay, I actually enjoy proving people wrong when it comes to my disability. I don't mean in a prideful sense, but it does bring me joy. And it should, because you are showing people that it's not what they say, it's what you say. You're not bragging, you're being confident. That's not bragging. We all know what we have. I am a pro OCB bodybuilder. That's a fact. That's not bragging. Don't apologize for who you are. Love you. I love you too, sweetheart. You're amazing. And, and it's, and it took me a while to figure out and because another thing, Miss Winnie doesn't brag. She's good at what she does, and she knows how to do this stuff. You got to look at that. It is what it is. Hey, Tiffany, welcome to the show, sweetheart. Glad to have you. Let's see. My son asked me a huge question the other day. Dad, if you could change something about yourself, what would it be? I told him my CP. He told me why. I was speechless. That's the point. You are who you are, okay? And realize that the CP is part of you. Don't down it. Don't down it. Don't look at it as it needs to be changed. You are Charles because you are Charles, not because of your CP. You don't need to change that. You don't need, that's like the pill question. If you could take a pill to make you walk and cure your CP, would you? No. I realized a long time ago, and I know I'm flailing and got my hands going in every direction, but here we go. This is where the passion comes out. I don't have to change my CP or walk to be what I want to be. Okay? I don't have to change my CP or walk to be who I want to be, because I'm DJ because I am DJ, not because I'm sitting in a chair. Okay? My CP is a blessing. God allowed this to happen to me, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for what he did for me, because CP changed my life. Because I'm not in the rush, hustle and bustle, gotta go. I take things smooth and slow and at a pace that I can handle and I can afford. And you're not late, sweetheart. You're on time precisely when you decide to be here. Very true, because your passion is for you, so everyone is not going to see it like you. Definitely confident. You know what? Let me bring up something real quick. Before I met Winnie Wilson, I thought I was a confident person. I was not. And I want to say this without getting too emotional. I might get a little bit emotional, but that's my mom. Y'all got to understand. I look at Miss Winnie now and I realize, after knowing her for almost 5 years, it is something to me that really kind of shakes my very core when she shows me that I'm capable of so much more. Okay. And that in itself brings out, when you have someone in your corner to show you that you are special and show you that you are confident and show you that you are powerful, that is why this show is going the way it's going. Because people like this, people like you guys get up here and you comment and we talk about the real stuff. Okay? My son said that too, and he's 9. Shocking. The things what comes out of the mouth of babes, and you got to understand there's a reason for that. I pondered that very question when I was younger. People would ask me, does it bother me that I don't know how to walk or run? I said, not really. When they wanted to know why, I had to explain the way I move. The way I move about now is all I've ever known. So why dwell on something that you've never known? We are who we are. We don't need to change who we are because of something that we have or don't have. You still have to go after life regardless of the things that are with you or not with you. You've got to live life with the deck that you've got. Okay? Understand, our hand is our hand. You can play it or fold it and the game is over. That is your choice. Okay? I think that my life would be totally different if I did not have CP. I think that my personality would be totally different if I did not have CP. I think my sex appeal wouldn't be nearly as sex appeal as it is right now. If you read my shirt, I'm so awesome, it hurts. Okay, or so awesome, it hurts. That's not a slogan. That's a feeling. That's passion. But I'm not going to get my head this big and not let it go through the door. Okay? Now, there's two comments right here. Tiffany said this. Yes, yes, yes. That's exactly what I say about my car accident. God had this in my plans, and all I have to do is accept it. And I have. I hate my wheelchair, but I love it as well. And look, there's things we're gonna like about wheelchairs and CP, and there's things we're not. But we gotta understand as people, we got one life to live. Okay? If we live it the best we can live it with what we have and go through life accepting the way we are and stop trying to change things about us and work with what we've got, you're going to get a lot further in life than trying to change it. Charles, when you learn to accept who you are and how you were created, you will learn to embrace you. You are amazing and have beat many odds so low on you as you are, and nothing about you or you and your limitations should stop you and what people say. Love you as you are. That is what I'm talking about. That's Edwina right there. Look, I came into this world naked as a jaybird and just a baby's butt coming on out. But I came into this world as a fighter, and so did you. You know, you and I have messaged on Messenger several times, Charles, about the fight that we've had to endure. Me as a martial artist, you as a pro boxer. Understand. We had to fight. But this lady right here just said something in this phrase, love you as you are, okay? Okay, and nothing about you or your limitations should stop you and what people say. Love you as you are. You got to be Charles as Charles. I don't need you to be any different. I don't need you to be without CP, but I don't have to see that. I don't have to see that. You have to see that. Okay? It's not about, and I know that you see some of this because we've talked about it. It's hard. Life is hard, but you got to make the best life with what you got and the time you got. Because I'm going to tell you, we ain't got much time left, people. We ain't got much time left. God, that's my mama right there, y'all. Woo, my mama. Boy, y'all. I'm telling you. Love the shirt, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. Life is short. What you do with it is up to you. At some point, especially if you've been disabled for a long time, you finally learn that you have to make the best of the situation if you want to be happy. God cannot lie and makes no mistakes. No, God does not make mistakes. God makes miracles. Okay? And all of us on this show right here, right now, are miracles. Every single one of us are miracles. Okay? You talk about fighting, you talk about living, you talk about making the best with what you got. That is life. Your life and your chances that you take are your passion. Because when you take a chance, sometimes you have to throw caution to the wind. You have to be careful, but you've got to be, sometimes you got to throw caution to the wind. You can be scared to death, but sometimes You've got to do it in fear anyway, because you can't let fear control you because of what people tell you and how big and bad it looks. Because darkness cannot survive in light. Okay? And you look at it, you look at a painter and you look at someone who paints pictures. You need dark to show light, but light always overpowers darkness. And you think about that. And you think about who you are and what you become and where you are and what you want to do. Go for it. Find your passion within yourself and go for it. Okay? I don't do shows by myself anymore very often because I have a lot of guests. Okay? And I have a lot of new people that are coming in December and January. I got people lined up. Understand that your passion is going to help you evolve and understand exactly who you are. And this comment right here. Miss Edwina, I really hope to meet you one day. You've been such a positive influence to DJ. I bet you're just a joy to be around. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. These moments right here are the moments I live for. When this lady finally gets credit. I got to tell you what, if this woman if Miss Edwina Wilson could get all the credit she deserves, she'd be rich. But you know what? She's rich in love and she's rich in friendship. And she understands life as a whole. Okay? And that's hard to understand life as a whole. Because when you've been through it and when you've gone through hell, okay, when you've gone through hell and you come back on the other side, you realize that God walked with you the whole time. And that lady has got a relationship with God that everybody should want and everybody should go after. But I will say she has helped so many people because of her passion for Kelly's Choice Cares and because of opportunities like this to do shows like this. That's what I'm talking about. Josh, we have a purpose. There is a reason why you have a disability. She's awesome. Yes, she is. And there is a reason. There is a reason that I have CP. There is a reason I was born this way. There is a reason I look this good. There is a reason I fight this hard. And whatever that reason is, I've got to take my passion, be true to myself, and do what I do. Man, my God, JP, I truly appreciate this message. It would be a true joy to meet you sometime soon. And I'm going to tell you, if Miss Winnie says she wants to meet you, she will come meet you. That sexy car she got driving down the road, just changing all the colors and everything. Look, I'm happy right now. Okay, I've had a rough couple of days. And to be honest, I weren't going to do the show today. I started not to. I haven't been feeling well, and I've been fighting with some stuff. See, we all got our own internal battle. We all got our internal battles that we fight. Sorry, y'all. But we're not alone. And understand that sometimes it's hard because sometimes you don't see what goes on behind closed doors. And sometimes it just takes that voice or that mom to reach out. Or sometimes it takes that you're going to be all right. Sometimes it takes that push. Sometimes it takes that second to just give you a little bit, a 30-second phone call that can change your life and push you in the right direction. I said I was going to do the show today, and I did it because I have to push through and I have to be passionate about what I'm doing. If I'm not passionate about what I'm doing, if I'm not passionate about what I believe, I'm telling you right now, there's no option that I can give you, but your word is your bond, and you've got to be who you are and what you are. Miss Edwina, I'm glad you inspired DJ because he has been an encouragement to me, and I thank God for it. Tony, thank you for saying that. I love you too, brother. I knew and I prayed you would get up and and go for it. I knew you were going to push through. You know, and that's the thing. Miss Winnie knows me. She knows me at my lowest. She's seen me at my highest. She's seen me at the middle. She's seen me through all of it. When you know somebody for 5 years and they see you as you, I don't fake nothing. I am what I am. I remember a show like this that I did years ago, and I can't believe I say that now. I was I was not gonna do the show, and I called Miss Winnie. I said, I'm not gonna do the show. I can't do the show today. I ain't feeling it. And all she asked for, she said, DJ, all I want you to do is get on the radio for a little bit. Give me 15 minutes. Just give me 15 minutes. And I was gonna do 15 minutes today. I was gonna do 15 or 30 today. And I started talking. And I started talking and I started delivering, and that passion started coming out. And when the passion started coming out, that's when life kind of just pushed everything else aside, and this is all I had. Life is hard, and you got to push through. Life is hard sometimes. Some days you don't know what you're going to do from one day to the next, but you got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep digging. You got to keep believing. Because sometimes that's all you got. Sometimes that's all you can find. That's all you can feel. That's all you can see. And you got to go with what you know. When you ain't got nothing left, you got to push just a little bit more to give something. And if you do that, you're going to get through. We need this as much as you do. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. Some days we just got to give it to God. That's true. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do. Hey, Miss Deborah, how are you? Thank you for being here. Life is hard, but the reward and the end is well worth it. Well worth it to be by God's side. Amen. You know, I look at that, and you look at a show like this. You know, it's hard sometimes, but the ability to, because I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for me. This isn't about me. This is about the people that are here right now. And everybody that is supposed to be here is going to be here. The people that are here are supposed to be here. Every day you should give it to God. That is true because God can carry it. I don't have to carry it. Guys, I want to thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for episode 72. I love all of you. This means so much to me. Thank you guys for being here. If you want to be a guest on the show, or you want to return, or you've never been on the show before, please look me up, carterdj85@gmail.com. Send me an email, let me know. Put in the subject line, guest on the radio show. I will definitely return it to you as soon as I can. I'm booked through December now, so we're working on January. Again, you can find me on YouTube. You can find me at My CP Does Not Define Me. Twitter, the same thing. My CP Does Not Define Me at Minion Sports. Instagram, My CP Does Not Define Me. My blog, CarterDJ85@Wix.com. Working on my TikTok. I don't have it up yet. Deborah, I will message you. I was actually going to message you last night, but I will get you in hopefully for January. We'll get that done. So that is so awesome. I'd love to have you. Guys, I always say if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, and we will see you next week. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being part of the show today. Take it easy and take care.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the Disability Global Broadcast and Facebook Live. If you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, we post all of the show videos in our MyCP playlist. I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. And if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.